Age of Revelation is turning the Marvel Universe on its head, man. Starting with Jean Grey, because she's no longer the Phoenix. What am I talking about? I'm talking about Binary number 1. Let's go fly into the cosmos, baby, and roll that intro, cuz. Yeah. What's going on, Geek Corner? This is your boy, Earthsmack the Mad Scientist, and welcome back to the Orange Phoenix Media channel. So today we are talking about Binary number 1 in the Age of Revelation. Just like I said on Saturday Morning Comics, Binary is one of the comics we're going to cover in that timeline of Age of Revelation. Very, very interesting comic, to say the least, and a lot of dialogue here when it comes to it. So definitely you want to stick around to the end of this video because you want to hear my personal review on Binary. So Binary starts out by saying, I've had many names. In my early days as a hero, I went by Miss Marvel, a classic, honestly. I briefly played with the name Warbird, though it's the name Captain Marvel that felt like it really stuck. But when I transformed into an entity with the powers of a white hole star, I adopted the alias Binary, an identity that once again feels fitting given the current circumstances. Jean Grey is dead, and I have the powers of the Phoenix. Binary is the only thing in my life comparable to this cosmic power, so for now, readopting that name made sense, though the people of this town have a few different names for me. So put a pin in that. So now let's address a couple things. The fact that Jean Grey is dead, even though she had the powers of the Phoenix for however long she had, for as long as I can remember, as long as you can remember, this is a little hard to believe. Like, what happened to Jean Grey? What killed her permanently to the point where the Phoenix Force moved on to Carol Danvers, who's lead to my second point. Captain Marvel is already OP as it is. So if you take what she's able to do on top of the Phoenix Force, is a very short list of entities that can beat her straight up one-on-one. You know what I mean? There's a short list. There's a list still, but there's a short list. So how can you effectively tell this story, you know, while her just completely demolishing whoever she's up against? And we technically jump into it, and this is the power of stupidity. So we are at this town hall meeting, and Carol is in her hometown. And one of the townsfolk saying Carol Danvers can put anything into our minds that she wants. Maybe she just made up this whole X virus thing. Any of you ever thought about that? She's just lying to keep us all trapped in this psychic bubble of here where she can be the supreme dictator. And she says, okay, I think if we are hurling around titles like Supreme Dictator, it means we're not going to have a level-headed conversation. And from that standpoint, all the townsfolk saying, we're prisoners, let us leave. The X virus could be cured by now. There never was a virus. So from that standpoint, she says, like I said, they've got quite a few names for me here, but at least no one has called me. And you know what? Using my imagination, I'm pretty sure this dumbass called her the B word. You know what I'm saying? Let's put a pin in that. Comic books have a funny way of telling stories and letting hit dogs holler. You know what I'm saying? Because if you look at the townsfolk, you listening to those townsfolk, it's certain lines like, there never was a virus. Like, the S virus could be cured by now. Keep in mind, like a few years ago, we had COVID, and there were literally people saying COVID don't exist. It was made up. There was literally dumb folks out here, like people literally dying from COVID. So if you look at this AIDS virus situation, comic books have a funny way of retelling stories, but doing it in a comic book manner, but only if you like in tune, you know, with your literacy, that you understand what exactly is going on. But she is fighting stupid people. Okay, okay, that's exactly what's going on. So we go on to the next page, and we see this dark figure. And this dark figure is talking to Hank. Now, Hank was introduced in the beginning of this comic. Now, I didn't really touch on his dialogue, but Hank and this group was trying to assassinate Carol. Now, I don't know what they was thinking, trying to do that. Somebody that has the Phoenix Force, that shit wasn't going to work. But either way it goes, she's like, how could you not? the way everyone was carrying on and yelling, like even Bill Hanover, he used to be a college professor. Even Professor Hanover was in there talking about how the virus might not be real. And she says, don't celebrate the battle while the war still wages. And he like, yes, ma'am. He like, Carol Danvers is weak. She's been stretching herself too thin for too long, but that doesn't mean she's to be underestimated. We can't wait for her powers to weaken. We must also weaken her mind. The people aren't just angry at her, they are beginning to fear her, something that will completely break the spirit of the heroic Carol Danvers. Now put a pin on that. Now Carol has always fancied herself the hero. She has always fancied herself the person that protect the people by any means necessary. And she makes, for the most part, good decisions. I mean, she just made, some off-putting decisions in the past. And, Carol Danvers have gotten unwarranted hate. But at the same time, she has good intentions, right? She's not like an evil type of person. So we go over to the next page while she's talking. She says, when the virus hit, I came here to my hometown. It was an instinct, a choice that the Phoenix doesn't agree with. And the mayor of that town says, what does that mean? She says, I've spent years here protecting a few thousand people while the rest of the world suffers, but I can't do anything about that because if I leave, if I release my psychic hold on this town, mayor says the virus takes over. Exactly. And the Phoenix is getting tired and restless. My body aches. I've had a headache for more than a year. Both the people of Beverly and the Phoenix want me to leave. Maybe I should listen. And the mayor says the angriest people are the loudest, Carol, which is facts. And he says, and they are angry. I can feel it. They're angrier than they've ever been, and it's only growing. She says, still, that doesn't mean that there aren't those of us who do appreciate you keeping us safe. And she says, I just want to know what I'm doing is the right thing. And she's like, that this is what Jean Grey would have wanted for the Phoenix. Now, from that standpoint, we got to look at, like, Carol, what she's doing. Like, she's actually explaining why she's stuck there in that town. Now, this is her hometown. She's trying to protect her hometown. She has a psychic hold around that town to keep the virus out. So at any point that she leaves, that virus can come in, and it's going to be a 50-50 deal. Either it's going to turn people into mutants, or it's going to kill humans, like, straight out. And for the most part, humans have been taken out. You know what I'm saying? So she's trying to protect what she's able to protect. Now, maybe this is a little bit of a plot hole here, but considering the fact that you are Captain Marvel and you have the power of the Phoenix Force, maybe there's a way to actually kind of block all that stuff out and save everybody all together. But this is person new to the game, like new to the game of being the Phoenix. Like, I don't think she's much of a seasoned veteran like Jean Grey was, because she's been the Phoenix for decades. But we go on to the next panel because there was a loud scream in the town. Now, in this town, you get these beings called Babbles, and Babbles are at the behest of that dark female figure that want to cause chaos in the town. She wants the town to turn on Carol to the point that she just released a psychic hold on that town. But Binary shows up, and she says, Jean choosing me as the vessel for the Phoenix Force, the X-Virus killing a huge portion of humanity. But some things really never change, like the fact that there will always be someone in need of protection and someone else in need of a good kick in the teeth. Now, while this battle is going on, she is being watched by this figure, and it says she's predictable. She thinks she's saving the day like she's gone 100 times before. Familiarity is comfortable, so maybe Carol would like to see a familiar face in her hometown. And who is this? Now, a lot of people might say, Jean Grey. No, it's not. My guess, if I'm a betting man, and I'm a good betting man, that is Madeline Pryor. That is Madeline Pryor, Goblin Queen herself, man. Because why would Jean Grey give the Phoenix Force to Carol Danvers and still hang around and try to torture her? Like, what's the reason? What is the reason for that? That is Madeline Pryor. Like, what is her goal here? Because that is the end of issue number 1. Now, for my personal review on this, I do like the avenue that is taken. Because with someone as overpowered as Binary is right now, you need something that attacks her heartstrings and attacks her mind. Because just like what Madeline said early in the comic, she was like, listen, we got to attack her mind. We got to weaken her spirit, not just her abilities, but her spirit. Like, because right now she is stretching herself thin. Like, she has a barrier around the town, but at the same time, with this barrier, she's still fighting some of these people, some of the townsfolk that's trying to assassinate her, like early in the comic. So I do like this avenue, and obviously this is a contrite story because if I'm not mistaken, it's supposed to be only 3 issues. So this is issue number 1. So you got to tell a good story. You got to tell it fast. You know what I'm saying? Now Binary as a Phoenix, I don't know. I have like long legs, but for right now, it's good for a short run. We'll see where this goes. So far, this is a good comic. I highly recommend this comic to you guys. I will say though, I skipped a good bit of key parts in this because why? I want you to go to your LCS to get yourself your own personal copy of Binary, and you judge it for yourself. See if you like it. See what you like, the direction where it's going. Hopefully, they explain what happened to Jean Grey. Okay, why is he dead? What happened with that? All right. Hopefully they'll explain that. You already know what to do. Hit that like and subscribe button and that notification bell. And you already know with that notification bell, you hit that little drop down box and you select all. That way you get notified on all of our content, whether it's live or recorded. So hope you guys enjoy this. Do not forget to leave comments and let us know what you thought about Binary number 1. So until next time, y'all, peace.